Hey everybody, Merry Early Christmas and Happy Holidays. You know, one of the funnest things to do around the holidays is unbox some toys, and that's exactly what we are going to do here today. I have my current collection lined up on the table here, and what I'm hoping is going to happen is that throughout the course of this very long video, I'm going to bring these engines up to the table one by one. They're all new in box, and we are going to unpackage them, and I'll give you guys my honest opinion of them. So, we have so many Adventures engines to unbox in this video. My current collection is going to almost double when this video is over, and I'm hoping to keep this pretty casual, so I guess let's just get started. I have them all off to the side here. I have over 20 engines that I want to unbox. Let me start off with this one. If you're looking at the current lineup of trains on the screen, you probably realize, you know what, there's a very pivotal engine that's missing from this picture. And here he is. It's Adventures Edward. When I did my Adventures collection video a while back, the first thing people were talking about in that video was, where is Edward? I had a bunch of different versions of Thomas, but then after Thomas, it skipped straight to Henry. And people are like, dude, where's Edward? You forgot Edward. Well, actually, Edward is a very hard Adventures model to find. I never saw him in stores. He was never available online, so it was like, what was I supposed to do? Here's the thing. I ended up buying him off of Amazon for a very decent price. I mean, you know, $7.99 or something like that, which is what you would normally find him in. But then I later went to a Fisher-Price toy store in New York State, and since it is a Fisher-Price toy store selling official products, they had a ton of Edwards there. That is the only place I ever saw Adventures Edward being sold in stores. But never mind that story. Here is Adventures Edward. It's going to be very nice to introduce him to the collection. The face looks really good. That looks like an Edward face. Sort of a little small thing I do with the engines is I turn the couplers a specific way so that they're pointing up. I think that looks probably the best versus just having it weird off to the side like that. So here's Adventures Edward. The common theme that these Adventures engines suffer from is that their dimensions are a little bit squashed. Edward's not too bad, it's just his cab is really, really low, unfortunately. But his face is really good. And I'm not going to do this in this video, but I do like to come along with some permanent markers, and I like to touch up the engines a little bit. And that really, all that involves with Edward here will be painting in the buffers on the front there, and then also on the back of the tender. The tender looks fine. I know some people aren't the biggest fan of Adventures. I'm seriously not the biggest fan of Adventures either. But there's as this video goes on, I'm going to explain my reasoning behind doing this video and collecting more of these trains. As of the making of this video, the Adventures line has been discontinued, and it's been replaced by something called Push Along for the Trackmaster line, which is causing all sorts of confusion because it's under the Trackmaster banner, which you'd think would mean that this engine, if it was a Trackmaster engine, it would be able to run by itself. Well, no, it's a push-along toy, so there is all sorts of confusion and delay going on out there, mostly from parents who just don't know a whole lot about the toys. It's really easy for me to talk here after I've done my research and be like, oh yeah, you know, the push-along engines and the Adventures engines don't take batteries. It's the Trackmaster engines, the motorized ones that do, and blah, blah, blah. But to the casual parent, your kid is interested in all these other toys probably more than Thomas. So yeah, I can understand how it can get confusing. Yeah, these Adventures engines, you know, they suffer the same problem that the latest round of take-and-play engines suffered. You know, they've cut back on the wheels and everything like that. But overall, all things considered, Edward is a very nice engine. I'm going to put all of my unboxed engines off to the side over here. And I think when we're all said and done, I think I will just show off all of my new engines. But I won't do like a big group picture because that's why we have collection videos. So up next, let's just keep rolling along. This is Gator. If I remember correctly, I don't see a price tag on this. I wonder where I got this Gator at. I'm not sure. A lot of these engines I've had for a little bit. I remember seeing Gator in both that old style of packaging and the new style of packaging for a little bit. Here's Gator. He's a little bit funky looking, if I'm being honest. It's like it's all scrunched towards the front here, and we got a lot of open space in the back. So I'll have to take a closer picture or a closer look at Gator's picture. I don't know if he has painted buffers or not. That's the thing, is I just don't want to go along and paint in all the buffers if they actually aren't painted in. So Gator, for the most part, is looking pretty good here. All these Adventures engines are not on bogies. That's, you know, kind of why they shortened them up and did all that stuff. But Gator's face looks pretty good. That looks like a Gator face to me. Far as the side goes, yeah, up top here, we actually do have some painted details along the top here, so that's good to see. Who knows? I don't think I'll have too much work to do when it comes to making Gator better. But the interesting note is that he actually, this is so interesting. You know, a longer engine like Ryan and Bell, they are on 3 wheels on each side, and Gator's on 4. And it makes me wonder, why couldn't you have used this same wheel configuration for those other engines? So I'm a bit confused at that. But otherwise, Gator's looking pretty good. I give him a solid rating. Pretty nice. I got a whole bunch of engines over here. You can hear me knocking them around. I'm going to look this way and just pick a random engine. And here we go. All right, it's Adventures Luke in that new style of packaging. That was something that I think a very common complaint with the Adventures engines was that first style of packaging, which we will no doubt see later in this video many, many times. That first style of packaging was a little bit weird. This second style I was a much bigger fan of, for sure. It looked a little less crazy, I want to say. So here's Luke. Once again, he's a little bit squashed. I remember Take Along. I don't know if it was Take Along at that point. I think it was Take and Play back in 2012. Take and Play Luke by, I guess it would have been Fisher-Price and Mattel, was pretty good. And then I remember Luke with the big fat magnets on each end, and he did not look very good at all. So yeah, I have opinions about the Adventures line. It's interesting because I wish they would have just stuck with the original Take Along, Take and Play. You know, they have magnets, the 2-way magnets. Oh my goodness, you know, what a concept. It's something, besides Mighty Mac in the Wooden Railway range, we've never seen it introduced in Wooden Railway. It made it so unique, you know, die-cast metal and all this stuff. And then they came along and yeah, they did a couple of things with the wheels behind the scenes, and then they came along and shortened all of the engines. And then they put the big fat magnets on the front, which were not very good looking at all. And then we switched over to this plastic coupling design, and then the Adventures engines only lasted about 2 years before Push Along came in and kind of took over the die-cast portable range of play. So honestly, Luke is just, he's got the wrong dimensions in the wrong areas. You know, the cab here looks fine, but then we just have this skinny area and then the super fat area right behind his smoke box and his face. So, but I mean, honestly, he's pretty on par for an Adventures engine. Off the top of my head, I want to say he has silver buffers. So I have a silver permanent marker that I can come in. And if I'm a little daring, I might come in with a very fine tip marker and color in the windows here. I've actually done that to a couple of these Adventures engines as well. But Luke looking pretty stock standard, in my opinion. He's got the smaller wheels. If we bring Gator back, Gator does have bigger wheels, so that's maybe this is a way to try to signify to the person buying Luke that he's not the same gauge. I'm looking over at Victor, who's at the edge of the screen. You can't see him. He has small wheels as well. So maybe that's just something they did with the narrow gauge engines. They gave him small wheels. Next up, we got a standard gauge engine. It's Hugo. So let's see, this clearance tag right here, this means it's from Target. So back in, let's see, gosh, it was a while ago. I mean, this stuff has not been in Target for a very long time, but as you can see up there, originally sold for about $8. It was down to $5.50, and that was good enough for me. So most of, 90% of the Adventures models could be improved in some areas. However, Hugo is a really solid Adventures model. Okay, well that's kind of weird. All right, Hugo. So out of all the versions of Hugo, Trackmaster, Wooden Railway, Wood, and Adventures, Hugo definitely has the best model by far. Wooden Railway was a little bit weird because you need 2 sets of wheels for a bogie so that he can go around the corners. Trackmaster, good shape, just not long enough, I would say. They've kind of shrunk them up a little bit. Wood, people seem to really like the wood version, and I don't like the wood version. One, because it's not painted. Even a painted wood Hugo would not be right, because Hugo is a very, very long engine. You go take a look, go look at a picture of Hugo's basis, and he's a very long propeller engine. And speaking of which, that makes him unique My propeller is very sticky. I was thinking it would spin around fairly easily, like a windmill or something like that, but mine's a little, I don't know, if you guys have Adventures Hugo in your collection, let me know. Are you able to kind of flick it and it spins around? Mine is on there pretty tight, so it's not moving around as much. But Hugo, wow, Hugo is just a beauty here. He's looking really good. That's a great Hugo face, perfect size. Hugo's face is ginormous, so that looks appropriate. You have, the cockpit area up here, and, the side, and this is looking really, really good. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of this video if I go along and say which ones I like the best, which ones I didn't like. If Hugo is definitely up there in the likes category. He's really, really nice. I should roll these engines along so that you guys can see how they kind of act, but yeah, I'm liking Hugo a lot. This is, even before I started collecting adventures, I remember when his picture came out and I was like, oh, well, that's what Hugo's supposed to look like in a merchandise form. So maybe my one drawback, I thought this would spin a little bit easier, but it's not a big deal because I won't really be playing with these trains. But one big thing to note about Hugo is that he does not have the adventurous coupling. He doesn't have one where his face is, because there's really no room for it, and he doesn't have one on the back here. And I remember in one of his episodes, that was the whole thing, is that he doesn't have any couplers, and then people in the Trackmaster line and the Wooden Railway line are like, well, he has couplings, and yeah, all that stuff. So definitely, without a doubt, this is the best version of Hugo. Very happy to have him here. Let's take a look at a road vehicle. How about? We got Trevor. The price tag's upside down. This is from Tuesday Morning, originally being sold for, is that a 5 or a 6? Looks like a 5. Being sold for $2.99. Honestly, when these were in stores, I was seeing them sold. The smaller engines were being sold for $4.99, and then the bigger engines like Edward or maybe Hugo we saw was $7.99. So that comparison price is, you can't really trust it. You can't say with 100% certainty, oh, that's what this item used to cost, unless you saw it in stores for full price. So Trevor was actually one of the first engines I picked up when I decided to continue my adventures collection. I saw him at Tuesday Morning, which is a discount store, and for $3. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Unfortunately, Trevor's not looking too great. His wheels are this very ugly, just for lack of a better term, tone deaf gray color, just your stock standard gray. That's just not good. I don't even know if I'll be able to come along and fix this up with paint or anything. From memory, the inside of his wheel is red and then the outside is black. I'm thinking back to when I fixed up my 2017 Trevor and I had to do a couple of things there. The good thing is that, yeah, it's a big face, but it's a smiling Trevor face. It's much better than the 2017 Wooden Railway version. We still have, if my camera will focus, there we go. Oh, it's going to ignore Trevor. So we still have this traction engine wheel rolling along. It's good to see that that has still made a return. And Trevor still has a coupling in case you want him to pull. I don't know, there's not a whole lot of rolling stock in the Adventures line. He could pull, I don't know, he could pull another engine like Gator. I mean, they're the same height, so that's definitely a possibility. But what's interesting, Wooden Railway Trevor has a coupling, has a magnet on his front. This version of Trevor does not, and there's definitely room for one to be there. So that's very interesting. I think they were definitely inspired by, oh, I kind of tore away. Oh, never mind. I was looking for Trevor's picture. You can't even see it because the price tag's there. I was going to say they were definitely inspired by CGI Trevor not to give them a coupling on the front there. But yeah, this is definitely not one of my favorite Adventures engines. I think if you bring in one of those little play rail figures, the height's pretty similar. I was going to say if you were to chop the base off of one of those play rail figures and just had the figure standing in there, you could get some pretty cool shots, I would say. So there's potential here. But I don't do anything permanent when I come in with my permanent markers. All that stuff, you take some, I believe it's rubbing alcohol, and put it on like a tissue or like a paper towel and just rub it right off. And that's the great thing, is all that stuff is reversible. So, Trevor, we've got some work to do on you, but nevertheless, I'm happy to have you here. Thanks for joining the party. I'm gonna turn away again. And, oh, alrighty. Philip, one of those most annoying characters. Up here it says he was sold for $4.99. He was down to $3.48, so a decrease of about $1.50 from Target. And He's got this newer style of packaging, which I enjoy. It's always interesting to see which engines they feature on the back of the packaging. Usually they are released in waves. They're kind of released together. So I think, you know, when Philip was not being sold on clearance at Target, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw these other 3 engines being sold alongside them. So Philip, this actually isn't that bad of a version of Philip. I know Enterprising Engine 93, I don't know if he officially uses it, but I know a couple of people, including him, have taken the wheels off of this and put the metal body chassis here on, or sorry, just the metal body on a wooden railway chassis, because you kind of get a lot of the good stuff about Philip. It's all up at the top here. The wheels and everything else, you know, not that spectacular. So Philip's got plastic couplings on both front and back. I see some opportunity for maybe to color these buffers in. Wooden Railway Philip definitely has his buffers colored in, so maybe I can come along and do that. And maybe I'll come along with a gold or silver Sharpie and color in the lamp there. I don't know what he looks like from up top. But other than that, I mean, what's interesting, all his windows are blacked out, and that is something I have not particularly seen in the past. Off the top of my head, Diesel 10 back there, I had to go and blacken a lot of his windows. Den and Dart are off screen, but I believe I had to go blacken their windows as well, and maybe even Frankie and Hurricane, I'm not sure. But that's interesting. You know, the Thomas and Friends Adventures line, definitely a very weird case scenario. We actually have the tail lamp here. If you guys can see that, it's not just like a part of the paint job. It's a little bit, it sticks out just a little bit. Your fingernail catches on it. All right, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think this version of Philip isn't that bad. If he had maybe like a white running board. I don't know if Philip has a white running board. I'm just assuming he does. But that would be pretty cool, honestly. So not too shabby, Philip. We got some work to do, but that kind of makes it fun. I actually like seeing the engines without painted buffers and everything, because I'm like, ooh, I can come in and do that and hopefully won't screw it up too bad. So let's take a look at one of the newer engines in the Adventures line. Honestly, this may have been one of the last Adventures engines ever produced. I believe it's Hongmei. Hopefully that's right. I have no clue who this engine is. I have not watched anything in the Thomas and Friends series past Journey Beyond Sodor. The series has just completely lost my interest. I have not seen Big World, Big Adventures, which is kind of funny. I just have no desire to. And it's just, yeah, I'm sorry if that offends some people, but that's just how it is. So I presume there's no description on the backs of these boxes, but I believe this is the Chinese engine that Thomas meets on his adventures around the world. I don't even know if she appears in the Big World, Big Adventures movie, or if she's just seen in the TV series, you know, when he continues to travel, or however that works. I really don't know. But anyway, here is Hongmei. Pretty good face. I actually have a duplicate of this if I ever want to make a wooden railway custom. That's sitting away new in box. The lamp here is painted. That's so funny how we get that detail on some of the engines, and then on other engines we don't. It's very hit or miss. What's interesting, and this is totally unofficial, but looking at Hongmei's picture here, pretty sure she is the same style of engine as Rosie. And yeah, I can tell you for a fact, Rosie's right over there. She does not have the same humps and the same detailing that Hongmei has. That is very interesting. You'd think they would just reuse the metal die-cast mold that they use to create these engines, but apparently some extra work went into Hongmei. So I'm looking, I can't see too much of her from this picture. I don't know if she's supposed to have extra wheels here, but we kind of have this gap area where she could kind of teeter-totter back and forth. Not too bad. It's just I know nothing about this character, and honestly, I don't really want to know a whole lot about this character. Maybe I'll come in. Oh yeah, on her picture, she's got painted buffers, so I'll definitely come in and paint those buffers up, both front and rear. Maybe do a little bit for the tail lamp right there. Man, when these engines come out of box, they are just nice and sparkly and clean. It's kind of cool. Maybe I'll look at some closer up pictures and see if any of this stuff needs to be painted in. Not too bad. It's just, I mean, I remember I saw this in stores and I was like, I didn't even know this had been announced. I was like, this is actually a thing. So anyway, that's Hongmei. Wish I could tell you more about her character. You guys can tell me more about her character in the comments below. Let's get a bigger engine going. How about one of my favorites, sarcasm intended, Ferdinand. This, I definitely did not buy this at full price. I can't remember where I bought it, honestly. It might have, honestly, it could have come, I'm pretty sure it came from Target. It just didn't have the clearance sticker on it, but then you go up to one of their, you know, price check machines, and I probably did this when all the other adventure stuff was on clearance, and, you know, the people who came along, the employees there just didn't put a clearance sticker on them, but there was no way I was going to pay $7.99 or whatever, $8.99, maybe $9.99 for this guy. No way. But here we are. So, there we go. We got Ferdinand. It's funny. I actually do have in my possession a take and play Ferdinand before everything went totally crazy with that line, aka not the big magnets. And he doesn't look too bad. Ferdinand actually looks really, really good. Off the top of my head here, can't really compare the two. This, however, is just not good. It looks like Ferdinand's tender is chocolate pudding. This is really, really lazy right here. I mean, you could even argue the same with the tender engines. It's probably the same mold. But considering, you know, Ferdinand runs on firewood, this is, yeah, even just, it doesn't have to be full-on wood detail, just something better than this. It literally looks like you're baking brownies in there or something like that. So, off the top of my head, maybe do the buffers. Let's see on the box here. Yeah, Ferdinand's he's got black buffers right there. So I presume he's also got them painted in on the back. Yeah, let's take a look at Ferdinand himself. He's got these smaller wheels, so there goes my theory of small wheels equals, you know, different gauge engine. Yeah, everybody else I've looked at so far has had bigger wheels. So for some reason they gave Ferdinand these smaller wheels. I think he looks like he's tiptoeing around. I think I would prefer him with the bigger wheels. Maybe I'm just used to seeing him in his wooden railway form. The face, however, that's a Ferdinand face. Can't complain about that. However, we need some lamp detailing. Yep, I'm looking at his picture here, and the lamp is gold and silver. And we're even missing, looks like we're missing a handrail. If you guys can see that, oh, a little bit up at the top. There's a handrail right there. I don't see that anywhere on this. Maybe back here, that's supposed to be it. So yeah, I'm actually hoping some of this stuff needs to be painted so that I can come in with my markers and figure it out. So, Ferdinand, your face, I mean, I don't like your face in general, but it's very accurate to who you are. The rest of you, however, some serious work needs to be done. I very, very much do not like this tender. That is pretty lazy. I mean, it literally looks like you're baking brownies or some other, it looks like mud, you know, it looks like he ran out of firewood, now they're using mud or something like that. So, yeah, these Adventures engines, the dimensions are always a little bit kooky. Maybe I'll come in and do that window right there, and maybe some of this other stuff needs to be painted up, but good detailing for the most part, you know, for an Adventures engine. I think this needs to be set back a little bit. I don't know why we have this big gap right here. I'm pretty sure, I may be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a gap between these two, not a gap here. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. Let's keep moving along. Another road vehicle, how about? We got Kevin. This is one of the items I bought at that Fisher-Price toy store in New York State. So yes, I did spend $4.99 on Kevin here. Is that a good decision? I'm not really sure. So first off, you know, all these other engines have been purely die cast with some plastic parts. Kevin feels a little bit on the lighter side. It's probably because his crane arm here is completely made of plastic. His body right here, however, that is all metal. Hopefully you can see the shine right there. He has a small wheel and then a big wheel. That's kind of reminiscent to his other merchandise models, so I can't complain there. Still got the Sodor Steamworks logo. And the face, yeah, that's a Kevin face, but I think he has had better expressions in the past that we could have used. Man, I'll be excited if all this needs to be colored up. That'll be fun to come in. He's got a plastic hook here. Gator's kind of my test engine. Okay, that works. It'll be interesting. I can't remember off the top of my head if the previous portable versions of Kevin used a magnet. I'm pretty sure they didn't use a magnet because a magnet would be pretty honking on Kevin here. But he's just this tiny little guy zooming around. I already have Victor in my collection, so yeah, that's good. The thing though is that his crane does not go far enough to potentially, you know, get to Gator down here. You got to employ some of your own magic to get him up on the hook there. But yeah, Not bad. His dimensions are a little bit funky, but I think we've come to expect that with the adventures. Let's bring in a Journey Beyond Sodor engine. Another engine I found on clearance. Super clearance. As you can see, there are 2 price tags up here for Lexie. Was $7.99, probably got dropped down to $5.58 or wherever Ferdinand was, or those other big engines. Now we're down to $4, so that's pretty good in my opinion. Lexie, I've actually had one of these before in my collection. I have her, this is kind of a disturbing word to use, I have her carcass in my collection still, because this is how I got the face for my wooden railway version of Lexie that was made for me by Wong Village. So yes, this actually isn't that big of a surprise for me. If you can call this a tender, I don't know really what you want to call it. Her tender here is extremely lightweight. It is completely plastic. Oh yeah, there is writing on there. That's kind of interesting. But this thing is light. I mean, a breeze comes up and it's gone. So not the best thing right there. However, Lexie is a little bit more substantial. Yeah, she's got those security screws on the bottom. I haven't really been paying attention to the other engines I've looked at, but she's one of those few Adventures engines that's got these triangular head screws on the bottom. So if you want to take the face from this, you just go on Amazon, you buy like a screwdriver pack that comes with a bunch of different heads, and one of those is going to fit, and that's exactly how I got her face off. I didn't have to, you know, take a drill or drill into this. You just pop these security screws off, and it just comes off kind of like a layered piece of cake. Everything's in there, and then you can actually put Lexie back without her face. Everything fits together perfectly. So Lexie here looks pretty good. We never got a wooden railway version, but her Trackmaster version wasn't too bad, I don't think. She's definitely an interesting engine because she's like a cab forward engine, I'm guessing. You know, it looks like her face should be here when it's actually on her back. So I'm pretty sure, however, positive that her cowcatcher there is supposed to be gold. So I'm looking forward to coming in with my gold permanent marker and touching that up for the collection video. So that'll be fun. Maybe her ladder or something else. Yeah, so a little bit of work to do on Lexie. The main body, Lexie's main body there, not too bad, but her little accessory tender, I mean, it's not even the same color wheels as we got for Lexie right here. So that's definitely the low part for Lexie there. I'm gonna look away once again. See what we got. From The Great Race, Racing Raoul. I also had another one of these. I think it was sent to me for TCC purposes, and then, I don't know, I sold it on eBay actually, but I decked it all up. And I'm not talking about I had a take and play version, and then I somehow got an Adventures Raoul. I sold both of them. So I'm also very familiar with this engine as well, and Raoul is in desperate need of some work. We need some painted buffers, we need some hazard stripes, we need the lamp. Not a whole lot to do on the side here, maybe the ladder, the steps there, maybe around the cab, and on the back, oh my goodness, look how much work we have to do. So this is kind of exciting. I know Enterprising Engine 93 for his version of Raoul. I don't think it's a secret. He's posted pictures of it, but he actually took the body of Raoul off of the plastic chassis and then just stuck it on a wooden railway chassis. Whereas I had Hero the Japanese Train reconfigure a Logan engine that used the Raoul face. So a little bit of a different take there for the wooden railway version of Raoul. We never got a Trackmaster version. However, we did get an Adventures version. We also got a take and play version as well that didn't last super long. And for push along, I'm not super familiar with that line. I would be very surprised, however, if we got a push along Raoul. Haven't seen Big World Big Adventures, don't know how extensive Raoul's role in either the movie or the series is. But yeah, so we got some work to do on Raoul. Still very happy to have him here. I'm going to start moving the engines over to this side because we're starting to clog up a little bit on my right side. So here's a character we all need. It's Winston. I got him from the Fisher-Price store. I don't really remember seeing Winston in stores a whole lot. I remember seeing Take and Play Winston, which is honestly probably this exact same thing. I don't believe Take and Play Winston, I'm talking the one with the big fat magnet, maybe even the one before. I'm pretty sure there was no magnet on the back. So this is probably the exact same mold. It's kind of like Take Along, Take and Play, Adventures, and Push Along Herald. They keep re-releasing Herald, in these new merchandise lines, and he is exactly the same. And it's one of the things that really bugs me with how these new lines are introduced. They always give us the most obvious characters that kids are sure to have, and they just keep trying to shove them down our throats. And it's like, no, we don't really want a push along Harold. We want all these other engines that we don't have. Winston here, he's actually dated 2014. A lot of these are dated either 2012 or 2013. Who was it? Hugo. Hugo did not have any couplings. Winston does not have any couplings. And Winston doesn't have any couplings on his Wooden Railway model either. And I'm pretty sure there was not a Trackmaster version of Winston. We have this very weird looking version of Sir Topham Hatt. It looks like he needs some sleep. You can definitely do a better face than that. It's so funny. You could probably mess around with this and get Sir Topham Hatt out of here. The one thing I don't like, his windshield should be clear. Even if you can't see all the way through, it shouldn't be blacked out. That's a really bad choice in my opinion. Breaks a lot of the magic that's supposed to be happening here. Although, Sir Topham Hatt, he's not quite there. He's actually right at the wrong level of being able to see over this supposed windshield. But Winston's face is looking really good. And he's actually decently heavy. So Winston there, very happy to bring him to the collection. Let's see, I think we're getting close to halfway done. Maybe that's the wrong way to phrase that. Let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna bring in a surprise engine. He's actually on screen right now, but I have an extra diesel, and the reason why I'm going to unbox diesel is if you look off to the side here, this is from my TCC days. We had to film a bunch of scenes with these generic diesel shunters, and I never took the sticker off of that diesel. So, and I'm just too lazy and don't really want to take the sticker off either. It's kind of a fun memory too. So I have an extra diesel here that I never used for any of those scenes that's still new in the box, so there we go. Diesel, you could try to come in and do some serious custom work. I mean, with a very, very, very fine tip marker, you could come in. I'm thinking of the Wooden Railway model where all of this is colored in, but I'm pretty sure on Diesel's both, you know, prop TV series model and his CGI model, none of this stuff is really colored in. You can get a little risky though. If you really wanted to, you could try to come in and color a bunch of stuff, but the lines are so fine and so small that honestly it'd be kind of terrifying, not gonna lie. But yeah, I've seen a bunch of these before. These diesel shunters are no surprise. Underneath diesel, very cool. All right, yeah, he's got that smiling face, which I don't like, but can't do much about it. Let's see. I got two bigger engines I want to save for just a few more rounds. Let's bring in something from Tuesday morning. This is Timothy. I know we got some work to do on Timothy here. Got him for $2.99. There we go. These engines are so easy to unbox because they just tear apart. So right away, Timothy is a little bit lighter. His face, not the greatest face. Could use a little work there. His lamp is not colored in. Might have to come in and do that. You need some buffers. The funny thing, wherever his packaging went. Uh-oh. Oh, here it is. Oh, no. Where's Timothy? Sorry, guys. Give me a moment. Where did his packaging go? Did I throw it behind me? Oh, here it is. Gotcha. Sorry, I got a bunch of trash off to the side. His entire red buffer beam is red, and yeah, we see painted buffers right there. And on this model, it's about half that. It should be this whole thing. It's about half that. That's just kind of lazy right there. It's probably so that this whole thing could be one mold, and then the colorful stuff, they would have to introduce a second part that they would later bolt together. So that's just kind of lazy, I'm not gonna lie. But this is kind of a more appropriate version of Timothy. He is a smaller engine, I want to say, but he's got some bigger wheels here. The detailing inside his cab, though, that's something we don't see on the Wooden Railway version, so that's pretty good right there. SCC, don't know if this other stuff is supposed to be colored in, I can't remember. But overall, not looking too bad. Started off a little bit bad. I might just have to come in and do the buffers there, and up top, I don't know if that dome's supposed to be colored in either, but yeah, maybe do the buffers in the lamp, and then maybe this side rod needs to be colored in. I'm not sure. Yeah, not too bad actually. Just could use a better face. It's not a terrible face, but I definitely think the Wooden Railway version of Timothy nails it a little bit more. All right, let's bring in, actually I'm going to save that guy. Let's bring in this guy. This is another engine that I've never seen sold in stores before. I got this off of Amazon. I've been eyeing it for a little bit, and when I decided to do a massive Adventures unboxing video, I was like, okay, I guess it's time. So we got Thomas and Ace the Racer. It's always funny to see what engines they include. So this is a little bit of a 2-pack. Let's take a look at Thomas first here. Let's see what we got going. So we got some, I guess they're goggles. I don't know if this is based on a dream sequence from the movie, but you know, we got this, I'm pretty sure, I'm looking at Streamline Thomas over my shoulder from the Take and Play era, and I'm pretty sure we got the same type of design going where it looks like he's going so fast that his paint's about to be blown off. A little bit of a, you know, definitely a special Thomas here. We got like a racing stripe. It kind of reminds me of Ace. Again, I have not seen the movie or the series, so this could totally be based on a like a fantasy thing or something like that. But as a special version of Thomas, this is actually pretty nice. When I talk about them squashing the cabs used to be a lot bigger, and you could see through them. It was actually an opening in the die-cast mold. That is no longer the case. So I don't know. It just says Thomas on the bottom. I'm not really sure what we're supposed to call this version of Thomas. So I don't know. Just the special edition. It's not even a special edition. It's, yeah, just Thomas and Ace the Racer. Okay. So we got this big honkin' cargo car here. And like I said, I actually do have some normal Adventures cargo cars here. Wow, look at the size difference. This is a normal cargo car that came in an accessory pack. All right, they can couple up. That's kind of cool. However, you can totally see that this one that's supposed to carry Ace dwarfs the size of the old cargo car. And the reason why this cargo car has to be so big is that you got to carry Ace the Racer. Let's see, underneath 2013 it looks like. Okay. So it's funny, the engines in this series, in this merchandise line, they still retain the ability to move their couplers around, but then for the rolling stock, they just gave them, they didn't really give you a choice, honestly. They just kind of left you there. So let's see. Ace here, he's got a little bit of a weight to him. Considering these are made by Fisher-Price and Mattel, I would expect sort of a Hot Wheels feel. That's interesting. He's dated 2017. Really, really interesting. So he's got a little bit of a weight to him. I know the Trackmaster Ace, he is very, very light because, again, you have to tow him around by a motorized Thomas. Ace's face, from what I can remember, is pretty good. He's got the 43 on the side. Definitely light years better than the wood version for sure. Yeah, this isn't too bad, and I think for kids, kids mix and match their toys with each other. They don't really care about merchandise lines. You could definitely stick Ace in there, and he could just be like a little Hot Wheels car. So that's kind of cool. Pretty good detailing all around. I'm looking at the taillights here. I don't even think I'll have to touch those up. So Ace is actually very, very tiny. Very, very small. Let me put him next to Thomas. Yeah, super small. I think that's pretty accurate for size-wise, though. You're thinking how big an average human is next to Thomas. So, the ratio-wise, that's actually pretty good. So, let me bring in the cargo car. Yeah, I didn't have a name on it, but look at that. Ace fits in there perfectly. So there's a reason why I went out and searched for this on Amazon. I thought it was kind of cool. The special version of Thomas, usually I'm not big on special versions, but it was actually kind of neat. And this is your only way to get Ace. And it's so funny that, for the Big World, Big Adventures movie, you couldn't find this in stores. I mean, I'm sure he existed somewhere out there in a store or two, but I had to go online and buy that on Amazon. So anyway, back to an item that I bought in stores. This is Ryan. Bought him for $4.99 at the Fisher-Price store. And even though Ryan is a bigger engine, like, a Whiff or, something like that, he's shrunken down to Thomas size, pretty much in all forms of merchandise. I think that's so weird. I honestly forget that Ryan's supposed to be a bigger engine, that he's not technically correct. So Ryan here, boy, this is kind of giving me some mixed feelings. I didn't think he looked terrible in the box, but yeah. So the face looks good. Where does packaging go? Oh yeah, this picture, terrible picture by the way. So I'm looking at it for buffers. Well, his running board is supposed to be red, and his buffers are black, but we aren't even given that option. So I guess I don't need to paint his buffers in. The side here, this is really strange. His cab is way too far forward. It needs to be back here. And then this layered thing, that's supposed to be coal, I guess. Very, very bizarre. I'm not liking this version of Ryan at all. Very, very strange. You know, you got your typical details in here. Let's see. I'm looking for the picture again. Oh, I can't see what color the handrails are, so don't know the stuff that goes onto his smoke box there. But yeah, not the biggest fan of Ryan. I'm gonna call this a major miss. You know, considering he should be longer. Oh, he does. He technically does have 4 wheels on each side, guys. It's right there. That's kind of an insult. So I know Adventures With had 4 wheels. But then Push Along, Bell, and Whiff have 3 wheels on each side. So, man, they just keep cutting back, and these engines are going to look funkier and funkier. So, not the biggest fan of Ryan right there. Let's bring in, we'll bring in Bill, how about? Clearance for $348 at Target. I think this one looks pretty promising from the outside. I don't believe there was ever an Adventures Ben that was made. Maybe I'll have to get another one of these and make an Adventures Ben. Just all you got to do. You don't really have an option for the face. You just come along and replace it. I might have to do that, honestly. That's what I did with my Wooden Railway one. So here is Bill. I wonder why they chose Bill over Ben. There's probably a story to that. Interestingly, they give him full-size wheels. They don't give him the small wheels like we've seen a couple of times on other engines. And I think this looks really good. The face is on point. It does say Brendan Bay. Very nice. Wow, that's painted in. That's a bit of a surprise. I think that's his whistle back there. I don't know what color that's supposed to be. I think I will come along and try to do these windows. It's going to be a little bit tricky though, but I'm up for it. And other than that, Bill's looking pretty good. He's kind of the twins are a bit of a fun shape. So obviously I'd say, you know, take and play Bill and Ben. Probably get the shape a little bit more right, but this isn't terrible. Again, you know, we got 2 wheels on each side, so they kind of teeter and totter and stuff. But yeah, I'll come in and do the buffers, and I'll do the rear windows with a permanent marker. But wow, this is turning out pretty well, I think. So I'm fighting a losing battle with my camera here. I thought my battery was going to last all the way through, and it'll be close. But we're going to keep this moving along. I can't believe I've done this all in one shot. I've been talking for 42 minutes straight. Birdie, what a weird one. What a unique one. He is heavy. I noticed that when I bought him. Where did I buy him from? Oh, no price tag. I'm guessing Tuesday morning, even though the price tag is not on there. That's just what I'm feeling. I don't ever really remember seeing Birdie in stores. Man, he's heavy. He's got some weight on him. If you were to throw him around or something like that, he could hurt somebody, unfortunately. Birdie looks really good. We don't see any passengers in there. He's missing a rear window. I don't know how the driver sees where he's going. But it's so funny, they painted that for us. They painted his headlights, but they didn't paint the tail lights. So, yeah, that's not good, but nothing surprises me at this point. Birdie is really nice, however. Oh yeah, I'm just looking at the information. 2016 Mattel. That's so funny. Okay, that's all about Birdie, I think. That was the last road vehicle? Yes, last road vehicle I had. He's really nice, however. Nice and sleek and shiny. No couplers. You don't really need couplers on Birdie, even though Wooden Railway gave him a magnet. But Birdie's really nice. I like that one. That's a good one. Let's see what else we got. I think I'll bring in another engine from the Great Race. Racing Ivan. Got it at the Fisher-Price toy store. Man, look how easy that is. So yeah, comparatively, oh my goodness, Birdie feels like twice the weight. I wonder why he's so heavy. Anyway, we've moved on to Ivan here. I did have Take and Play Ivan for the Thomas Creator Collective when he had the big fat magnet on the front. I was not a fan of that. That was from the days when we were trying to fit those Take and Play engines on Wooden Railway track, and of course they were shifting. I mean, because they don't fit on Wooden Railway track. Those were fun days. Definitely some upgrades I can do here. We got the buffers. We've got half hazard stripes. Where is his packaging? Yeah, half hazard stripes on the front there. So I can come in and do that. Maybe I could come in with a very fine tip Sharpie and color those windows in to make them black. Don't know why those are red. Bit interesting there. But it's funny, we got the back lamp there. I'm guessing those are supposed to be his windows up top. Very small windows, who knows? But yeah, Ivan's looking pretty good. They got most of the color scheme right. Doesn't look like they got too lazy like we saw with Ryan, where it was just, you know, that giant black running board and they didn't dare try to change the colors. I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the wheels. So the wheels do look blue. But yeah, I remember with Take and Play Ivan, I came along with a silver Sharpie and kind of did some special things to them. So anyway, that is Ivan. Moving right along, we got a couple more engines to unbox. Here's a classic one. Oliver from the Fisher-Price Toy Store, that $4.99 sticker. I remember seeing Oliver sold in stores, but never picked them up. I mean, I didn't pick any up. So here's the story with these Adventures engines. We're 45 minutes into this video. The story with these Adventures engines, I did not go out one day and start collecting these guys because I thought they were cool. I was sent most of them for my work in the Thomas Creator Collective, because at that point we weren't using wooden engines because wood was coming in, so I had to have something to film. And although Trackmaster has all your main engines, you know, we haven't gotten the Trackmaster Oliver in years, so you know, other characters, stuff like that. So that's why I have all these engines. Sent them away to another user who did some more filming for the Thomas Creator Collective, and now they're back in my possession. So yeah, this is Oliver's looking pretty good here, maybe a little bit stocky around that area, but like the dome and the whistle appear to be painted in. Definitely do the buffers front and rear. I'm not sure about these marks along the back. Not really sure what's going to happen there. But yeah, Oliver's not looking too shabby, and that's a good Oliver face, a little bit big, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad version of Oliver, honestly. I quite like that one. Let's see, I got 3 engines left. It just kind of depends on which one I want to save for last. Let's bring in the Aussie. It's Shane on clearance from Target, $5.58. Like I said, I have not seen Big World Big Adventures, so I do not know Shane's story. Maybe he doesn't even appear in the movie. Maybe he's just a TV series. Who knows? Shane, let's see. He's got a really tiny face. Like Hongmei, I have another one of these that I'm saving for a potential Wooden Railway custom, but that face is so tiny I don't think it's going to fit. Shane is a very interesting engine. Much like Lexie, his tender here, very, very lightweight. Very disappointing. I mean, it's like we're paying for die-cast, you know, portable engines. It's like, why is it so hard to get that? Shane is obviously missing a few wheels. They've done their best to try to conceal that fact. But the detailing along here doesn't look too bad, actually. I don't think there's really no areas to come in. These aren't, they don't stick out or anything. You can't feel them with your thumb, so it's not like if I wanted to come in and color these in. This sticks out, obviously. Maybe the ladder at the back there, but no rear window. That's so funny. I don't know how Shane gets around. So, yeah, Shane's looking pretty good. Don't know enough about him. Where's his... Yeah, I can't see too much from what his wheel colors are. Maybe I'll change the wheels or something like that. All right, we're racing my camera for the battery here. Let's bring in one of my all-time favorites, Dash from the Fisher-Price Toy Store. I didn't mean to leave all of these engines from the Fisher-Price Toy Store till last, but here we are. Looks pretty good so far. A little bit on the lighter side. The face... Very good face. That is a Dash face. However, we are missing... Okay, super random here. His funnel from this angle looks like one of those grater things. Like if you go to an Italian restaurant and they ask you for like pepper or sometimes even like cheese on your pasta. That's what it looks like right there. I don't even know the term. But we're 48 minutes into an unboxing video. Most people have not even made it past the first 2 minutes. So I can pretty much say whatever I want. Dash is looking good. For the most part... Not really a big fan of the gray, you know, basis here, the gray chassis. But other than that, his thing, this looks like a door. That's not a door. It looks like it's got a handle there, though. That's really interesting. I don't know, maybe it is a door. It's been a while since I've looked at these engines. Whistle area not painted. I might come in and do that. The steps aren't painted, the ladder there, whatever you want to call them. And much like Ferdinand, it's less noticeable on Dash here, but yeah, he's got some chocolate pudding hanging in the back of his bunker there. Not terrible. Yeah, not the worst Adventures model, but definitely some room for improvement. And there's Dash. All right, guys, we got one more engine to unbox. It's Nia, who's now become a main character in Thomas and Friends, I guess. And like I said, have not watched Big World Big Adventures, have not seen the series. Yeah. So, man, what to say? This isn't too bad, actually. The face is really good. I have another one of these I'm saving for a Wooden Railway Custom. I think it's a better face than the wood version. Along the side here, however, I mean, if anything, I wish they would just paint these orange. That would solve most of the problem here, but they're painted black as if they're trying to hide them from us, and that's just not good. So I will come in and repaint the buffers. Yeah, the buffers are black on this picture here. I will come in and also do the lamp. You see the lamp up there is not painted. So, yeah, I know there's a big fuss about Nia and how important she is, but having not seen the stuff that she's in, really don't have a whole lot else to say. However, details-wise, looking really good. I don't know why her bunker has only that amount of coal. Maybe that's something somebody can explain to me. Why isn't it this whole thing here? Maybe it has something to do with her real-life model, her real render, versus just a toy. So, Adventures Nia came in at the very end of the Adventures line. And surprise, guys, very quickly, if my camera doesn't die, I have one other engine I want to unbox. It's not even Adventures. It's the follow-up to Adventures. It's Push Along, and it's Rajeev. I hope I'm saying that correctly. We're technically unboxing a Trackmaster engine in this video. Hopefully my camera doesn't die. It's blinking red at me. I don't know a whole lot about this character. I know he has a bigger role in the TV series than he does in the movie The Great Race. Man, it's so funky because Rajeev looks nothing like this. The colors are a little off. It's just a mix mash of colors and everything, and this is just... Wow, this is the first push-along engine that I've held in my hands. And the coupling system and the wider base are to be applauded, because I think, you know, cross-compatibility is important. However, I don't know if we're really seeing an increase in quality. I think Adventure should have been completely skipped over. If this was the end goal, Adventure should have been skipped over and we should have just gone straight to this with the coupling system. So, fun fact, there's Rajeev. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. People are going to ask me if I'm going to collect these guys. Honestly, I'm probably not, but here's a character that was never made in Adventures. So there is Rajeev. All right, guys, I'm going to go recharge my camera. I'm going to remove the engines from the table, and we're going to take one last final look at everything we unboxed in this massive video. All right, now that we have all the engines out of the box, it's time to run through them all, just in case you forgot who we've been looking at for the past hour. Let's go down here. We've got Kevin, Trevor, Philip, Hongmei, Gator, Ferdinand, Lexie, Edward, Hugo, Luke, Thomas with Ace in the back there, Nia, Shane, Dash, Raoul, Timothy, Bill, Oliver, Ryan, Ivan, Diesel, Winston, and Birdie. That is a grand total of 23 new Adventures engines that have been added to my collection. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm a Thomas Wooden Railway guy at heart, but it is fun to dabble in some other forms of merchandise, so thanks for sticking along through this very long video, and I will leave you. I'm going to throw all of the garbage and trash that we have been through the past hour. Problem is, I'm holding the camera with my right hand and all the trash is on my right hand side. But this is how we're going to get this done in the most efficient fashion. Don't worry, everybody, I won't be throwing the engines away. Well, I might be throwing some of them away. You know what? Adventures has kind of taken me by surprise. I think now that it's gone, we are viewing it with those rose-tinted glasses that seem to get us all once in a while. We're not realizing it's as bad as we were originally led to believe. So, let's see, I think that's about all of it right there. Definitely a lot, it takes up a lot less space than my Wooden Railway stuff. Oh, we got one more. Alright, there we go. Well, we had 23 Adventures engines lined up. They're still over there somewhere. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. Don't worry, I will be throwing all of this away and recycling it where appropriate. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know most of you are here for Thomas Wooden Railway content, but it is fun to look at other forms of merchandise from time to time. So be on the lookout. It won't be coming right away, but be on the lookout for a second Adventures collection video coming in the near future. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.